Hey folks, welcome to another Angeldust dev. We're going to be working on the textures again today on the remaster project. I did some work in the meantime. There were 2 days where the power got cut because of construction work in the street. It happens, we'll just work around it. But anyway, I managed to wrangle the commits, the previous changes, into good shape. They're committed to the repository, so we now have like the proper code for having rounded columns and girders. So that's toggleable on a per block state, so the bamboo stick will be rounded, for instance, and the brick chimney will not be rounded. It's a good change. And like the other change was the tapered blocks, the repetition, that's also fixed. It's in the code base proper now. So let's take a very quick look at what the game looks like now, and then we'll start working on some new textures. Loki was here. Hello Loki, welcome. And I'm opening up the chat window there. So let's go. It'll be another few hours of like seeing where we end up. We'll be doing some textures left and right, maybe improve the engine if necessary. Let's just soldier on where we left off. So I'm gonna sign in here. Let's take an online look. Maybe a good starting place is the Psychedelia Wonder by Infamous, because we've got those marble columns over here, which are super rounded. So this is where we had the code last time. But now we also have the distinction between different blocks and different materials having different properties. So these marble columns are rounded.
Hey, sweetheart.
Like the highlights on them, they're super glossy, super rounded. That's nice, but once we move over to the cinder blocks facade over this way, like on this building, you can see that they are still angular and sharp. And look, it's so nice. Yeah, it is. So those are rounded, and once we move into these doors, you can see that the cinder box columns, like they still have this very sharp line on them. So these are square-ish, square, super square. We can also teleport toward Neferspi. Neferspi's got a lot of brick columns, so I'm not sure if the lighting is on this side of the building. Maybe we have to move all the way around, do a 360 no scope. And the brick columns have got these sharp edges again, and the bamboo sticks, they will be smoothed. So here you can see this effect in action. So very sharp delineating line here on the bricks. And if we find some bamboo like these, yeah, it's also the shadow moving in, so you see a bit of a shadow artifact going on. But the shading on the bamboo sticks is a lot smoother. So last stream we had to decide, do we want it on a per block basis? Do we want to make it like per block, whether or not they are rounded? That's what I implemented, and I think it looks very good. It adds a bit of a flavor and a distinction to all of the materials. Let me take a look at the difference in shading between the bamboo here. Let me move this out of the way. One moment. The shading between the bamboo and the brick columns. You can definitely see that the bamboo has got a more smooth style to it in the center, and then on the sides we have bricks with a very sharp line. And of course we see the dynamic shadow now moving across this face of the building, and it's all coming together nicely. So we're still working in this textureless texture style. I first want to get the macro of the textures right, and if needs be, if we need to add more detail to this, we'll do that later on. But for now I'm quite happy with the look of this. It just cleans up the visual so much, and we just let the lighting do all of the work. So this is Ekplixi, the inner courtyard, with the roofing tiles fixed, and we now have sharp shading on these blocks. So these untextured ones, I think these are columns, yeah, ruined stone columns. You can definitely get a feel that they are square, because the idea here being that the bricks they are composed of, are square, so they don't have rounded corners. Now there will be Loki says it's 2:26, who needs sleep? You, probably, so feel free to go to bed. It sounds like a very late evening there. So go to bed, go to bed. If you hear your name being called out, you have to go to bed. Peter. Loki. Oh, sorry, you have to go to bed already. Anyway, yeah, so these columns are also ruined stone columns, and they have sharp edges. As for the wood, I had to make the distinction between the wooden barrel, and the wooden barrel is going to be round because the planks supposedly can be round, And we also have the wooden pole, and the wooden pole is squarish because those planks are oriented vertically, and those planks will not be bent around the edges. So there's something to be had for everyone. The metal pipes, they are round, marble is round, bamboo is round. Do I have a lot of these in my inventory? Cinder blocks round, marble, 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 pipe rounded. The tree stump is also going to be shaded roundly. So if you combine different woods with the tree stump, you will get different kinds of shading on them. Let's take a random wander one more time. Cinnabon village. Let's see if we have any column blocks over here. Okay, we already have, what is this? Cinder blocks, okay. Also, if you want to have a stone that is rounded, you can use the concrete. Concrete is also rounded. This is a water barrel, okay. It's standing here without a texture, but it's shaded, nicely rounded, and this is also a water barrel. So you don't see the edge between the two faces too well. So that's water barrel for you. This girl is just dancing, Olivina. That's what we do. Let's head back out this way. And here on the cinder blocks you can see the nice delineating line. So anyway,
Nothing like that.
I think the next texture we do is the cinder blocks column. So we get a better feel for what cinder blocks looks like on the column. We now have the column rendering. We also need to do the bricks chimney top. Oh no, I did that one, but the bricks pillar top. So that's two textures to start with. Maybe we can also do the marble column texture. Let's see where we end up with that. Because marble is a material that will be sort of hard to define, because I don't want to have too much... we'll see once we... Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Cinder blocks column, I think that's the next stop here. I think the code is good for now, so let's just close all of this source code stuff. And let's focus on the shader here. So we... maybe I can also quickly show you in a normal space what this looks like. So let's sign into the world. So forget the idea of day and night. We're now entering normal world. So here we go. Here you can see the distinction between the face normals. So on the brick pillars you get this very sharp delineating line, signaling, okay, this face is oriented to the left, this one is oriented to the right. And the bamboo has got this way more gradient effect going in there. It's sort of the same color still, but there's a smooth gradient, and that signals to the engine that the light around this should be reflected smoothly. So in normal space you can definitely see a very big difference between the rounded and the squared off columns. There will be portions in this build, I think, where these blocks are sort of commingled. So let's see if we can find an instance of that. These are all, this is, yeah, ruined stone and brick, so that's all sharp. But there might be some marble around. Loki's going to use coffee to fix the sleep problem. Okay, this is tree bark. This has got the rounded effect to it, so there's a gradient going on in this block. So maybe this isn't the best example of where we mix them. So I think Sanrofar, the south portion, on the market. Let's see, market. We've got Frankie over here. Hi Frank. Good morning to you. Frank is just going on his merry little way. Yeah, so here we have tree stump. Tree stump is being rendered smoothly, and then on top of that is cinder blocks for the girder. So definitely a noticeable difference in shading style. Now once we add a texture to this, to the cinder blocks, it will be slightly less angular, because that will introduce rounded faces, rounded blocks in the texture. This is so smooth. Yes, it's very smooth. In all, it's pretty good, but this is what the engine thinks or feels the lighting should look like, where it's going to be reflected. So, hey Neil, free gold here on Crazy Neil. I want some free gold, buddy. But we'll get there later. We'll get some free gold later. Let's disable the normal view. And I think we just do the brick pillar first, because then we can wrap up one folder. Because if we take a look at the blocks, we have bamboo, and the bamboo stick texture, I tweaked it slightly because the inner portion doesn't have to be recessed anymore in this ambient occlusion map or in the displacement map, because the engine adds it itself. So it doesn't need to have any normal definition in the texture anymore. It doesn't need to have ambient occlusion in the texture anymore. It's what we add in the engine. Yeah. Which reminds me that we can do one more trick here. So let's open up the girder block mesher. Yeah. And we want to check first in the shader. Let's see if we can get ambient occlusion to render. Where do we find this shadow map? Lighting color, specular light. Because here's the thing, I think we can occlude the inner vertices in the engine too. But where is the code? Vertex ambient occlusion, there we go, boom, this one. Now we need to somehow enter build alone mode, which we did, that's good. And yeah, some of these pipes are hollow, like this. And now we want to make sure that the inner vertex of the hollow pipe, this is a pipe as well, and this is a pipe. This is the vertex ambient occlusion, so this is what the game world occlusion looks like in the engine, sort of. So this is a very rough shadow algorithm, sort of. Hello Hosam, GMX, how are you doing? And now we have these inner vertices on these pipes, and as you can see the face is entirely white, but this is actually a hollow pipe, so we want to add some occlusion to the inner vertex. This is something I forgot, so let's open up the girder block mesher, and this is the code that I committed yesterday, so we set up the normal smoothing here, but we have the add hollow cap feature function, yeah, here, and we create the center vertex, vertex mm, and we want to make it occluded. Smooth vertex position is forced cubic. The update. Which update? What are we talking about? Vertex mm dot ambient occlusion factor is, I think we use 1. Can we just do it like this? Is it now occluded? Did we do it? Are we this awesome? Let's see what happens. I have no idea. Like, this should work. And my computer is suddenly very slow at compiling. I don't know why. Yeah. See, we now occlude the center vertex, and now we can see that it's a hollow pipe, even without textures, even without shading. So definitely light is getting occluded when it enters the pipe. So that's a good change. So we don't have to do that in the texture anymore, or not as much. Is my battery maybe charging? Battery is not charging. Because, why is it not charging? I have no idea. Anyway, so this is a change that we want to add as well. I will commit it after the stream, but it's a very important one to have ambient occlusion in the pipe centers. So, oh, if it was more stripy spaces, green would love it. Yes, it's black and white. Indeed, it's a black and white look to the world. I want to make sure, what was this called? Ambient occlusion model. Get factor for column block vertex. Do we ever set this to more than 1? Is basically my question. 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. 2, okay, 2. Like, is this very mucho occluded, or is it not very mucho occluded? What do we do in the shader? What do we do with the vertex material X? It can be 2. So can be 2. Do we want the center to be very occluded? Sounds useful. 2. Hosam adds, add new swords, please. Not what we're doing here. So that's not something that falls under the topic of discussion we're having here, but okay. Your request is noted. Add more swords, please. Let's see what the ambient occlusion looks like in real life. Is this real life? It's probably a very subtle effect, so let's run with this 2. It's the right thing to do. He may do it one day, but not today. Indeed. We're focusing on something else entirely today. Okay, good. Now we probably want to massage this into the class that we just saw. So let's open up that ambient occlusion model. Get factor for column block vertex, for girder block vertex, for object vertex. Let's see. Get factor for column block vertex. I sort of want to have all of that ambient occlusion definition in this file. But how do we call this method? And do we cram it in between these two? We could. Uint 8, get factor for column, girder, hollow cap, center vertex. Whoa. That's a lot. That's a lot of text. We don't need any arguments, I think. So we can just say uint 80 ambient occlusion model, get factor for column, girder, hollow cap, center vertex. Return 2. Center vertex is maximally occluded. There we go, boom. And now instead of using 2 here, we just say ambient occlusion model, get factor for that. Should still work. Loki adds, today is PBR and the game engine, indeed.
No time to waste, let's
Yeah,
go.
we don't do swords today. Maybe in a future update, more swords. You know the word. This is absurd. Absurd. Let's check in the vertex shader one more time, and I think it's good to go.
Oh, no time to waste, let's go.
Yeah. It renders very explicitly here, so it's very black and white. Most things in life are not this black and white, but this makes it easy to see if we get the occlusion right. So it's good to know this. It's good for debugging. Alright, so maybe we can commit this. I think the code change is very minimal, so let's uncheck all. Close the artwork, close code generation, close generated. We don't need texture metadata. So we want to commit this change, and we want to commit these changes. So set up ambient occlusion for column and girder for the set up ambient occlusion for the center vertex. Center is a word, isn't it? Centra. Hey, I'm not British. Set up ambient occlusion for the center vertex of column and girder hollow caps. Unless it is space is green, then it is all black and white. Yeah, Spaces Green's world is very black and white. No green, and green, no green. Set up ambient occlusion for the center vertex of hollow column and girder caps. and that's issue 409. Set up ambient occlusion for the center vertex of hollow column, and there we go. Commit 3 files. It's a good change. Now, Xcode has this weird property where sometimes it doesn't commit all of the files that you wanted it to commit. And indeed, we're missing this one and we're missing this one. So let's open up a terminal and fix this. Which is why I don't like committing on this. So let me try to fix it real quick. One moment. I need to git status, okay. Then we git add source client. Status again, boom, yep, and then we commit and amend the commit. Now we log, let's check it. Yeah, that file, that file, that file, yeah. Sorry for that detour, I had to git commit the thing properly. Again, sometimes Xcode, when a lot of files have changed or not changed, and you select some files to commit, it forgets. Sometimes I forget things. With that small detour, we're ready to make the texture for the brick columns.
Oh, no time.
We're now in build alone mode anyway, or already, so let's choose both of them. So this is the brick chimney. And this one does have a texture on the top, so this has got rounded edges on the top. And this one is a brick pillar, and this has got the weird texture on top. Question, when did you start using Xcode? A long time ago. Before the rain, before the snow. Xcode has always been my development environment on macOS ever since I started using macOS, which is a pretty long time ago. Before that I used to like write Java or use other IDEs like Eclipse, but ever since starting Angeldust I've been using Xcode, but even before that on some projects. Okay, so we need to make the top texture for the brick pillar, because bamboo, we did it. We've got the bamboo big block, we've got the bamboo column block, so bamboo is sort of a material that we've finished for this style. So let's move over to bricks, and then we have the brick chimney. This one is finished. And then we have the base bricks. That one is finished. And now we have the base brick pillar. And we need to make the top texture for that one. Sort of in the style that we're working in right now. So let's see what Cartoon does for the brick pillar top. Bricks. Brick and Morty. It just copies over the cinder blocks. That's what we deduced in the previous version. So it copies over the cinder blocks column thing. So this does this texture. It's just the top of it. So we can make a texture for that. It's pretty easy. And I think for this style we now have to make 2 different files, because the bricks have got a different roundedness to them compared to the cinder blocks. So these files are 224 by 224 pixels. And then we first create the albedo like this. Save it as brick pillar, brick pillar PBR albedo. I think that's what we call it. Bricks. I was wondering about the bricks. So we call it brick chimney, but it's actually bricks chimney. So, and bricks pillar. Let's keep it consistent here. Bricks pillar PBR albedo. Okay. Make the displacement map, and that's one we base on the original design. So let's make the same thing, but now we make a rectangle that's exactly the size of the canvas, like this, and then we copy over the smoothing that we have in the main texture. So that's this PBR displacement, and we want to copy over this inner glow. I've pasted it, and it's over here. Okay, Alternatively, we could scale this one, or we could just use the picker tool. Doesn't work, so we just make a new graphic style out of it. There we go, looking good. Questions are, does this look good? Like, is the roundedness enough for this pillar, or do we want to make a tweak to this? Because given the size of it, which is coincidentally what she said, we could go with a 2-block design here. So we could change the aesthetics of the block a little bit. I mean, imagine if the brick pillar top had 2 blocks right next to each other. Might be a nice thing to try out. But let's not get sidetracked. Let's first run with this. Let's first see if we can make something that looks good. Bricks variations, bricks pillar displacement. Boop. Because I think that would be a nice distinction between the bricks pillar and the cinder blocks. But we would be tweaking the texture slightly compared to the original. And our first goal was to re-implement the original texture set. So maybe let's not get ahead of ourselves here. It's a very subtle detail, but it might be a nice tweak. Bricks pillar displacement. Oh, I need to save it as a PNG. I'm not sure what will happen if I don't save it as a PNG. Things might explode. Yeah, there's nothing spectacular about this. We just smooth the normal, make sure that the tiling is enabled, and then we save it in the folder here, and we call it bricks pillar. Bricks pillar additional PBR normal. That's what we call it. We need to rename all of our other files. One moment. It's the additional part that we need to add. Bricks pillar additional PBR. Bricks pillar additional PBR displacement. Just for consistency's sake. The additional signals that it's the top, the cap part of the texture. No cap. Boom. This is good. And then we extract the ambient occlusion map, which is going to look slightly uninteresting. But slightly uninteresting is sometimes just what you need. Save it as AO, ambient occlusion. We close Pixplant. And then we copy over the empty base files. These are not empty, but we'll make them empty. Bricks pillar, bricks pillar. So let's remove the transparency from this. That might have been a bit too much. Removed transparency. This dot has to go. This is just a good enough effort. Could not find bricks chimney additional. Okay, we're going to replace it because we've got a better file now. We've got bricks pillar AO. And we also replace the material base, sure. And that's called material base for the pillar. Okay, very subtle shading on the edges here, but this is exactly what we want for the material map. And it's called bricks pillar additional PBR material. Yep. And then we still need to save the albedo because we saved an Illustrator file. We didn't save it as a PNG. So these should be added to the texture sheet. If we open up a texture packer like this, they should be in here. I think this is the one. Yeah, bricks pillar additional PBR normal and material. We publish a sprite sheet. Just like that. Then we run the code generation, Angeldust, code generation, make it convert the texture as well. Angeldust, artwork, textures, PBR, game world, configure regular.tiff. Oh, and we need to add it to the code generation. so it knows that which texture to use. It's a column material. It's called bricks pillar. Yeah, like this, and then we add an additional texture for it. Texture name PBR style additional, and this one is now called bricks bricks pillar additional PBR. So it's a deviation from the naming we had before, because we're not reusing the cinder blocks texture here, because we have a different roundedness to that. So we use the bricks pillar thing that we just created. We're using two separate files for those top portions. So I think next up we can do the bricks, sorry, the cinder blocks.
Time to waste. Let's go.
But let's first enjoy our bricks pillar. Here we go. Instead of having that weird top cap, it now has this brick look to it. So given the size of the block, it makes sense to have it like this. It looks like there's one big stone on top of it. Like there's just a big boy stone on the top face. I can live with it, but again, for the bricks, maybe it might be nice to sort of emulate the feel that there's two bricks on top. Because this is the top that you would expect for the cinder blocks, which are larger blocks. And maybe we just add a subtle detail where the bricks do have a two brick top on it. I mean, here on the end, it would add a nice distinction between the ruined stone and the bricks, I feel. But again, maybe we need to first do the cinder blocks and then see what happens. On one hand, I want to try it. So on one hand, I already want to do it. Shall we just do it? We're just doing it. The texture seems perfect for it. So why not do it? So let's call this one brick. And then we'll make another layer called two brick. Let's call it two bricks, sorry. And then we copy over the one brick to the two brick. Loki adds, it's really impressive that you're doing this all by yourself. Imagine if you had a team. Yeah, I can sort of imagine what it would be with a team. It would be much faster to do all of this stuff. But I'm not complaining, because I'm happy at all. Let's move this back to 26 pixels. Okay, here we go. And then we make a copy of the two brick. I mean, there's engine work to be done, and there's graphics design to be done, and even more stuff that you haven't seen yet that I want to get into. So yeah, it would be nice to have a team. And of course, we developed Angeldust with the team, like Robotics, Spaces Green, they did texture work and also, and the design for the creatures and all of the sprites. So definitely, I am used, or I can like lead teams and all, but it's just not at the moment. Just not at the moment. Okay, so we're going with a two brick layout here. So instead of having one large brick as a cap, I want to see what it looks like if we have two bricks. It's just a very nice, simple tweak that we can do in this visual style. And I think it will add a nice distinction between the ruined stone and the bricks material. It's not a perfect fit in the sense that it might not make sense given the larger brick illusion we have on the top of the texture, but I'm not worried about that too much. I think if we're going with a textural style like this, it's good to have as much as possible of variation between all the materials in the macro. So now we have a two brick thing. One thing to note though is that, oh wait, these are the cinder blocks. But still, the normals on the bricks seem or appear to be very much harsher than on the smaller texture. What's up with that? If we place these normals next to each other, they are different. Even though we copied over the style. Huh. I mean, I literally copied over the brick from this file. 26 pixels, 1990, 1999. And we don't do any tricks here. Yeah, we do a bit of tricks, it seems, but that's an old thumbnail. How about that? How about that? Now, well, let's first run with it. Let's see what it looks like. Maybe we want to go back to one brick.
Oh, no time to waste. Let's go.
Alone. Alright, this is what it looks like. So this is with 2 bricks on top. It's a bit of a departure from the original style. What does it look like if there's shadow on top of it? Then it becomes a very subtle... Oh no, you can see the second brick. You can see the inner portion. But again, it's much more subtle than the other one. How? Why? Is this a problem? I think it is a problem. Do we want to fix it? Again, so here, brick, brick. Okay, it's different. It's different. It's nice. It's nice, but I'm not sure if we want it like this. It might be a bit of a too big of a departure from the original style. Loki, you are a builder. Can we do it like this, or is it just too much? Do we use triangular bricks? That's not really in the original design either. But seriously, there's just such a difference between the normals, between the side face and this top face. Why? Why this? I don't know. Oh, maybe I didn't really want to remove the block. I said maybe I didn't want to remove the block. Maybe we just go with 1 brick. I can live with it. We saw the visuals. We tried it out. It's a bit too much of a difference. I didn't like it too much. Yeah, I know I can use normal scale here. If you look at it at one angle, it looks great, but if you look at the corner, I don't know. Yeah, same here. It just wasn't meant to be. Let's go with the safe route first. And we just use 1 brick. 1 large brick coming up. It was good, it was fun to take a look at the ID. Now that we were at it, but I didn't like it too much. And again, still, the normal is very subtle compared to what we have here. Like if we open it, the original in Pixplant, what does it say for the normal scale? Normal. 26%. Like this one is just way greener. It's way greener. Way greener. It's the original NFL hockey player. You know it. I'm not sure if NFL is hockey, but you get the idea. It sounds like a sportsman name. Anyway, we're back to 1 brick. 1 brick pillar. I'm not hating it. Let's keep it like this for the time being. Now there is also something to be said. Here we go again with more ideas. There is something to be said that this texture doesn't need tiling, and the tiling might actually interfere with the way that it's rendered. So let's open up the displacement for the pillar. This is just a simple thing I want to test. So let's not wrap it. Let's not tile it. Then we still get the same idea, the same thing. So the tiling does not actually change anything for this texture. Forget about it. Forget about it. Like the thing that I hate or the thing that I dislike here is that there's a sort of a 1 pixel edge around the texture where it's just aimed upwards. But that just might be the way it is. Like I don't want to massage the artwork process too much because that will take so much time to do for every texture. So we just run with this, even if it might be somewhat suboptimal. Let's first get everything working. So let's go with one brick on top, and then we have a sandy bricks chimney which looks like that, and we don't have a sandy brick pillar. Okay, then we have cinder blocks columns. Let's work on those because those are very important textures. Those are very important textures. Cinder blocks, cinder blocks, cinder blocks large, cinder blocks overgrown, base, 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 cinder blocks column. These are used everywhere, like every build ever uses cinder blocks columns. Most important texture in the game, most likely. Right next to the big cinder blocks. So let's make one. Creating a new one, 224 by 480. Let's start with the non-overgrown one first, and then we can do the overgrown one afterwards. So one thing we have to keep in mind, but we already did this with the regular column block thing, is that we have to make room in our displacement map for the overgrowth, for the flower or the ivy to be on top. So we need a bit more room in our color channels. Sounds impressive, it is impressive, but we can't go full white, full black. We need to reserve some room near the white so that we can cram the overgrowth in there to add more depth to that texture. We'll see in a moment. Cinder blocks column PBR albedo is where we start. This is going to be the side texture. We will have to do the additional as well, but this is the side texture albedo. Then we make a new one, same dimensions, and then we create 2 bricks. So we have to copy the base cinder blocks large displacement. This is sort of what I was hinting at. We need to keep the ivy on top of the blocks, so we can't make the blocks super white, but fortunately for us we didn't already make them white. So we now have to decide if we want to have the bricks be like this or be like the other one, or do they have the same style? Let's see. Small, like for instance this one, 40 pixels, 124, and then large is 40 pixels, 24. Okay, we have the same shape and dimension on all of these. I think we use large because that's what the original texture does, and then we take a look at the layout. We need to emulate this layout, so the top block has the edge on the left and the bottom block has the edge on the right. So it's just like this, and then we copy this one over. Yes, that's what we want, except we want it to copy. Don't copy that floppy. Yeah, this one is aligned to 2 to 4 and this one is aligned to 0. That's good. So in the navigator over here you can see the artboard being clipped, and then it looks like the original texture. So we save this file as the cinder blocks column PBR displacement. That's how we do it. We save it out. Then we take a look at it in Pixplant. Now this is going to be mirrored in the engine. Yeah, it's going to be mirrored in the engine, so it's gonna take some time. It will automatically fill up the blocks. It will be good. Hey Amelia, how are you doing? We open up the displacement, boom. It's going to look weird here because it's going to be mirrored, which I think implies that we don't want to have tiling here. We wanted to only tile in the vertical direction because it needs to flip. Flip the script. Yeah, we wanted to tile vertically. Yeah. It's just the way it is. It's the way it is. We smooth it out like this. And then this is our normal for that. I plan to rework everything. That's the idea. I plan to rework everything. Everything. Cinder blocks, column, PBR, normal. We will get to every single texture and effect. So where we can improve, we will improve. Where we cannot improve, we will not improve. Not sure what's up with this ambient occlusion map. It looks very funky to me. But sometimes funky is what you need, as we say in Dutch. Let's go, let's go. Now we make the material map out of that. For instance, Amelia, the water is going to render completely different as well. The water is going to have this very nice normal mapping to it, and it does refraction and reflection. It just looks so much better. I just haven't gotten around to making it for this style just yet. It could be something that we can do in a future stream. Like I'm all ears. Like what the people want, the people get. But I can't do everything at the same time. We're doing the cinder blocks column here, which is a nice block because it's used everywhere. Water like that would fit what I'm building. It's not like super perfect, like don't expect the world. It's not going to be super perfect, but it's... Oh, oops, I didn't want to save this file like that. Just like that. Wrong file. It's not like super amazing, but it's pretty good. Now I need to replace the ambient occlusion. Wait, I need to pay attention just for a moment. With the right files here. Material base, yeah. Save the layer, save the material map for the column. Did I save the albedo is the big question. I don't think I did I? I didn't, okay, so that's saved. So we should now have a side texture for it. Yeah, it's this one. The displacement, the normals look very good. When Firefly says it's pretty good, then it will be pretty good. What are you working on right now? Like I said, the cinder blocks column texture. So I think we also do the additional portion at the same time. Now that we're at it, so let's make the cap here. And this is going to be the cinder blocks column additional PBR albedo. It's quite a mouthful, but let's go. Save it out because we're cool like that. Another file for the displacement. Another file for the displacement. And we copy over a break block thing. And we make it 224, 224. And now we need to make sure that this is still at 40 pixels because it always sneaks up on you. And here you can visualize or get an idea for what I was talking about earlier. In the current version of the game, we use this exact same texture for the cinder blocks column top as we use for the bricks pillar top. but the bricks are now less rounded, so we need to have a distinct texture for the cinder columns, block, top, drop thing. So we have two textures where the current engine uses one. And on other blocks we just have like one texture where the current engine uses two. It's all fun and games until someone loses an eye. Anyway, close this one. Ooh la la. Yeah, we're back to all of this cool stuff. But this is one of the most important blocks in the game, so let's try to focus and get it right. Again, I do not understand if we have a smaller texture, then suddenly the normal map becomes a lot more subtle. Like I'm inclined to go with this, like 100% normal map scale, to make it look better. Like, am I wrong here? But it just adds another layer of complexity. And I want to keep things simple. She said she'd fix my bike. Free. No strings attached. I should have known, things are never that simple. We extract the ambient occlusion map. This will probably look very much like the bricks. But still, it's a different file, so let's go, boom, save it. Cinder blocks displacement additional PBR AO. Amelia says, I gotta bring my whole family to the game once this is done. I'm not very familiar with all the blocks yet, but I like what I saw lately. Which coincidentally is what she said. Now we get the pillar. Copy these over, then we paste them in the cinder blocks column, just like that, just like that. Cinder blocks column, and because I'm cool, I'm going to use copy and paste. I've learned this one simple trick. Doctors hate him. And then we replace the files because it's just what we do. Cinder columns beats block. Bada bing, bada boom. And in the transparency map, we place the cinder blocks ambient occlusion. Cinder blocks AO boom, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Cinder blocks column additional PBR material PNG. Boom. I've got the longest file names ever. But we have it, we have it. Now. Okay, we've got 4 albedo maps being shared here, that's good. But the material map between the bricks, this is the bricks pillar and this is the cinder blocks column. Yeah, so those material maps, those are different. Which is exactly what we needed or what we wanted. We want the cinder blocks to have a different rounding to them compared to the bricks. So let's update our cinder blocks column definition to include this new style. So texture name PBR style is cinder blocks column PBR, and then we have the additional texture is PBR style additional cinder blocks column additional PBR. It would be nice if it fit on one line. It does fit on one line. And now we need to check. Okay, the overgrown is going to extend this, so we initially will see overgrown columns be rendered the same as non-overgrown ones. We'll add an individual texture for that later on. But we also want to make sure that we have extends cinder blocks column on the ruin stone, so we copy over that texture. Ruin stone column extends cinder blocks column, and we don't have to set up a different texture here. Because we don't have a colored background on this. You work so fast, if I was half as fast as you, I would be done with the textures. Yeah, but Loki, I'm cheating a bit. This is the entire idea. I was looking for a artwork process that I could do on my own very quickly because there's hundreds of textures to be done. I can't spend too much time on a texture just now on my own. So I need to make sure that the process is fast and efficient. So this is what we did. We made this thing. Let's take one and let's build one. I'm strangely comfortable with it. And on top we have a rounded cap, which is slightly differently rounded than the bricks. This is a bit more subtle than the bricks cap over there. So I think we are about ready to see what this looks like on Neferspi. I think Neferspi is the wonder with a lot of ruined stone columns and a lot of cinder blocks columns and what have you. There are so many that I can't see any in this view, but we go over into the world on this side and to the wonder, and we will see so many of these. Like, they're everywhere.
Nothing like that.
Can someone point me to one? Oh, here's one. Here's one. Ruined stone column. Here we go. And there's a bricks chimney above it, so definitely a different flavor, different texture to it. Larger stones. Let's head up on this walkway, and here we have another ruined stone column, bricks, ruined stone. Oh, this is a pretty perfect example of the way that these interact. Like we have larger stones, smaller stones. Feel to them is still the same. I'm not sure if OB made it so that there's any caps showing, like a lot of these are just hidden behind other stuff. Okay, here we have a cap, but I can't see it. Then we go over to Eclixi, another OB wonder. It's not that like there's only OB wonders in the game, but I know that these use a lot of the ruined stone and cinder blocks textures. Here we go, here we go. This is now finally textured, these upper portions. Perfectly serviceable, it's exactly what you would expect in this style. Just smaller stones, larger stones. There's a few more on top of this. So let's head over here. Looking good. So this stuff is now also finely textured. We've got the caps on top, rounded. I'm liking what I see, like we don't have to change anything here. It's all good. Like if anyone has got problems with this, speak now or forever hold your peace. It's what these look like in the style. That's the best I can make of it. Oh, we also have the tapered blocks now. That look pretty sharp, look pretty good. But this is exactly what you would expect in the style. The Arctic Gate is also one that uses a lot of these, so we could visit that as well. Could visit that too. Loki says ... Is that good or is that bad? Oh, it's you holding your peace. But it feels like a passive-aggressive way of saying like, I've got some comments, but I'm not gonna post them here. I do want to say something, but I'm not gonna. Which was the wonder that I just mentioned? The Arctic Vorutka. Which is not number 3.
And now we found the loot.
It is not. It simply is not. I missed the blue bricks. The blue bricks, which ones do you mean? Do we have blue bricks? Did we ever have blue bricks? Ooh, this roof is nice. This roof is so good. Ever since we did that texture, it's just been so good. Artisk Vorota, there we go. We've got a lot of cinder blocks here, cinder columns. And it's finally got texture to it now. Wow, 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 wow. Never mind. I missed the blue bricks. Good, good. It's a pixel zoom, so it's going to be a bit pixely. But overall, it's exactly what you expect this to look like. I'm not sure if that's a bad thing, but it's exactly what you expect it to look like. I don't think this is the part where it falls apart. I feel this is just very solid rendering. At least on my screen this looks very good. And then we go to Psychedelia by Infamous, because we've got the entire Material museum using cinder blocks here. So again, smooth marble over there. And now we have cinder blocks over here. These columns. And I think now that we have the texture in there, it's good to have the angled corners. Because of the floor, it seems very difficult to understand, but if the floor was more cartoonist. I missed the blue bricks, never mind, because of the floor, it seems very difficult to understand, but if the floor was more cartoonist, now this looks good. It looks like bricks, lol. Huh? I do not know what people are talking about. Okay, so here we have different... this column block or cinder block thing is the wrong texture. We need to update that sometime in the future. But there's a lot of lighting tricks going on here. There's also one thing to the lighting that I still want to tweak. The floor, it seems very difficult to understand. Can you elaborate on that comment? Sorry, the chats are delayed, lol. Okay. Which build was it? And what are we talking about? I might be able to help you. But I do think that the columns look good here. It's exactly, like I said, it's exactly what you would expect. So let's go to a wonder. Pexanima West. Mr. West. Mr. West, do we have any blocks? Oh, we're already looking at them. They're this transparent. Ruined stone columns. All day, every day. When you was watching the castle from the outside, the snow seems way too realistic and the lighting on the floor was weird. Yeah, but that's because it's untextured. The castle building itself, lighting and shadows, yeah, it's because the snow is currently untextured and there was probably marble there and then it looks a bit weird, but everything will come together. It was looking very clean. Yeah, it was untextured. So in a few streams ago we did the grass texture like this, and we still need to do that for a lot of natural materials like dirt, snow, sand. We still need to figure those out, but we already have at least a grass texture. Otherwise things look very abstract. Rock texture, also something we still need to do. The marble, this is going to change as well. So maybe we can do marble next. I want to see what the columns look like if we start adding some texturing to it. Corroded steel pipe, looking absolutely sharp. I love the look of this. So yeah, a lot of textures are missing. In fact, we only have, what is it, 16 textures or so that we did. And all of the other hundreds of textures are missing. Same with the decals over here, the ship wheel. It doesn't look like a ship wheel, it looks like a white sticker. Cannot wait to see how the grass, snow, sand, and water... Yeah, so this is the grass. This is our first approach for grass. Also with the decals or the block decorations on top. This is what the grass looks like. So here we are. Okay, one more random wonder. Violent Castle. Violent Castle. Okay, this is water. Water rendering is still not implemented just yet. Coming soon, TM. But we can have some shiny marble columns here. Ooh, shiny. They look so rounded and they look so like marble columns. They are very good. I like it. I don't think we've got any cinder blocks here. But we can snag some coins. There we go. Hey Loki, you've probably been itching all stream long that I wasn't picking up any coins. Same here, this is ice. Like the ice is very artificial, there's no texture to it. Count with the Vilia. Boom. This is where I wanted to end up. We've got lots of columns here. And they're all tree bark. And they're all tree bark. The coins. You got them. So this tree bark is now rendered smoothly, and this column block is rendered angularly. Nice distinction there. Also for people who are wondering like why does it lag so much, it's because I'm using two screens on this laptop. It's only got one GPU. It's a little bit underpowered for streaming like this, but when I disable the stream, things look good and they run super smoothly. I just can't stream and do super smooth at the same time. It just can't be done. Anyway, this is a cinder blocks column, and right next to it is a corroded steel pipe. So we could also do a pipe texture or the barrels. All very important textures. And this is facing bricks, okay? We still need to do those. Angularly, yeah. Angularly, it's angularly. Ooh, some nice marble column. It's good. One more wonder, and then we do the overgrown version of this. Do we have ruin stones in Dragon Throat Valley? We do have cinder blocks. Perfectly serviceable. I like it. Serviceable is the keyword here. Marble columns look the best, lol. Yeah, and I want to make them look even better. Oh, hey, this is the perfect example of a cinder blocks column. So for these stream thumbnails, I always end up with a single element that's sort of highlighted. It's just the way it works. Like, we're doing one texture at a time, so there are not super huge improvements all the time, every time. Pixel zoom, let me get this centered sort of. Some nice columns here in the back. I just enabled the goggles. So the nice more cinder blocks columns, and here on top of the roof there's also 2 columns, and they look just good. They're there, they look good. We don't worry about them. That's the thing. We don't worry about things too much. Everything is nicely in line with the style. Again, we're shooting for a style that can be done, that looks good, and that we enjoy. Ten out of 10 would rate again. Also, this barbecue is looking tasty. Someone call crunchy. There is definitely something funky going on here with the normal mapping. You'd expect this right side and this left side to have different lighting to it. Because there's lighting on this side of the block, like the highlight is on this side of the block, but you would expect it to be on the right side, just like there. So there's seems to be a bug with the normal mapping on the stairs. Not sure if it's something that I want to fix right here, right now. But this is definitely something fishy.
Hey,
Amelia says, I'm thinking about a little pathway, Asian style, with some red column lanterns, with a beautiful light and shadows, reflection, and a little river next to that path. Sounds like an excellent idea. Do you know what wonder sort of already has a Japanese oriental style to it? Senevoy. It's wonder number 36, so /TW36, and you end up here. Red marble columns with golden gates like this. These elements, like, it works really well. This is a large city, so there's not a lot of gardens or like grass and stuff to it. There's also like this texture. We still need to do the leaves, but this has got a bit of a Japanese vibe to it. And as you can see, there's all tons of textures and colors to explore. There's balloons, it's pretty good, it's pretty good. And it looks nice in this style as well, so that's exactly what I'm talking about. There you go. So this could be an inspiration. There's water, there's boats. I mean, this is a boat. Wow. Wow, wow, wowie. What do you plan for the leaves? A new stream. I'm not sure if I want to get into it today, right now. But for the leaves, it's a very important texture. And there's also still the distinction to be made. Like, do we want to make it a texture? Or should we just use a different style for the vegetation at all? Because we can do everything. We can change everything. So it's probably going to be an attempt at making the texture look good, and if that fails, we start to improve the tree models. And I don't mean 3 the number, but the tree, the object, the foliage thing. Anyway, we're spending a lot of time here in the wonders in the game because everything just looks mighty fine. But we're going to have to go back to our cinder blocks overgrown column thing texture soon. Crew. I do plan to have individual leaves though, or at least groups of leaves, so we are going to make a very detailed texture for it, just like the grass. Grass sort of models all of the different grass blades with a bit of roundedness to it. So it needs to be similar in style, because I don't want to clash in style. And this is snow. Okay, so yeah, snow is also a texture that we still need to do. Anyway, this is a sort of the Japanese-oriented red, white color palette. The grass looks so good. Hey Amelia, you look so good. And Loki says, haha, lol. But also says, he planned on leaving them alone. It's a pun. But everything just looks so good. Everything just looks so good here. The different material shading stuffs, the textures that we already have. It all works nicely. Okay, so I'm happy with the cinder column blocks regular texture. Now we need to make we don't need, but we want to make the overgrown version of it. Let's just copy the entire folder, cinder blocks column overgrown, or is it overgrown column? Column overgrown, okay. But now we have a problem, and problems are there to be solved. The coding looks even better. So we call this the cinder blocks, and then we make a layer called overgrowth. And we have to use, we don't have to, but we want to use the original cartoon version of this texture. Good luck, is all I can say. Good luck, Firefly. Let's start off with the sides. So let's open up the texture here. We're going to have to shuffle a lot of stuff. And please don't tell me that the textures have the incorrect size. Please tell me we've got something to work with. Okay, we have at least something to work with. That's good. Good luck. Thank you. I'm gonna need it. So we want this entirety. And it's sized incorrectly. It's 112 by 240.15. So what do? First we group everything into one layer. So can we merge down here? Or do we just select this and collect a new layer? Okay, one layer. Then we make a clipping mask. 240. Which we center. Which we then apply. So now we have a single group 112 by 240. Which is sort of similar to the dimensions that we want here, except it's twice as small. So we now scale it to 2 to 4, 480, and we center it on the artboard like this. Boom. Okay. Is everyone with me? Is everyone with me here? Now we want to have this in the albedo channel too. So let's open up the albedo first, because we're cool like that. Oh, that's the additional. We want the large side face. Copy it over. Close this one. Here we go. So this is the albedo layer. The colors we want to copy from the other block that we already did, which is the base cinder blocks large. No. Overgrown. Yeah, but this one. Okay, so this is, you're with me? Good. I appreciate it. No, wrong file. Albedo. Cancel. Unlock. Boom. So the overgrowth, this is the linearized version of that color. So we select all of the same fill color. And then we color pick it. Then we select this, select same fill color, fill columns. Do that. Okay, good, good. Tuturo, hey everyone, are you with me? I'm with you. All the way. Ride or die, it's what I do. And then I think we want this middle tone for the flowers. So that's 177, 206, 236. Let's make a new color swatch for that. Because this is all shading on the flower and we're going to replace the shading with the displacement. Is what we do. But we need to convert this to linear color space. So let us now open up the thing where we open up numbers. Except we don't open up numbers, we use the material value calculator. There we go. And we start with 177. 177, which is going to be 114. We could potentially make a converter for this in Illustrator, but let's just do it the easy way here. We don't have a lot of albedo going on in these blocks, so then we have 236, 215. I enjoy these flowers on the stone pillar. Okay, you're in luck, Ruan. We're going to do all of them. We'll be spending quite a few hours with these flowers. Hours with the flowers. Again, we're going to replace that shading that we had earlier with the displacement. So we just signal to the engine that the flowers are here, color-wise. My Wi-Fi died for more than 5 hours, Ruan says. I spent the whole night doing absolutely nothing. Hey, the night is for sleeping. That sounds terrible, Loki says. The only thing I can think of worse than having no internet is no coffee. I had coffee and no internet, Ruan adds. How about that? Now, a lot of you are screaming at your screen saying, Firefly. Firefly. You need to rename these files. And you'd be absolutely right. Please don't scream at me too much. I'm going to have to add overgrown to all of these. Overgrown. The PNG files will regenerate later on. Normal people sleep during the night. Rename them all. That can't be right. Firefly, yeah indeed. All my important things in my folder are called 0. Ah, I see. You're a connoisseur of the real file naming schemes. Cinder blocks column. These are so long I can't even hold them all. Which is what she said. Cinder blocks column overgrown additional PBR albedo. Cinder blocks column overgrown. We did it. We did it. So now we have this albedo. I'm not a big fan of this just not connecting. So what's up with that? Is it centered incorrectly? Are we doing something wrong? Like this connects. And this also doesn't connect. So do we want it to connect? I feel like I'm being trolled here by Space's Green, so Let's move those over 1 pixel. 1 pixel. It's just a 1 pixel gap. Like, why? Why are we being trolled here? There we go. You cannot troll me. So this is the cinder blocks column overgrown PBR albedo, which should now pop up in texture packer. Yeah. Look at those colors. They are nice. They're called O. They're not 0, but O. Oh. I thought it was 0 because then they are in front of the list, but apparently you have even better data organization than that. Displacement map. Here we go. Oh boy. First thing we need to do is to do the same thing to this path. I should have known things are never that easy. But if it were easy, everyone could do it. So we just do the same tweaks here. 1 pixel, 1 pixel, and then we remove this anchor point. It's what space intended. Nice. So our stones, they end up at 2, 4, 5. So we've got 10 to work with. We've got 10 displacement to work with. That's not a lot, but it just might be enough. So let's see what we do with the overgrowth displacement in the original. I think this entire stream will consist of making this overgrown texture, but if we have time left, we can try and look at marble. It will be marble madness. So you basically do a flat pillow style shading on this stuff. Which is possible. I mean, we can copy over the style. But I do want to add a bit more flavor to the flowers. No, if it was easy, Obi would do it. Lol. Yeah, Alexi is here. Privyet, Alexi. Marbles are my favorite block in any building game I've ever played. I want all the marbles, all the time. Does this work? No, it does not work. Of course it doesn't work. What did you expect? We remove the shading on this. And I think we move the flowers to a different layer post facto. Or maybe we can do it now. So we make 3 layers. We have the bricks, blocks. We have the overgrowth and then the flowers on top of that. How would you spice up this flower? You're gonna like it. You're gonna love it, even. So we can remove the shading like this. Then the center portion should just be dark. So I don't want this to be light. I want this to be dark. Boom, like that. And then we have the stuff that's poking out. I like that. Which coincidentally is still what she said. Remove the flowers. Remove the flowers. Flowers. But the marble is going to look so good. Seriously. I want to see if we can spend some time on that texture today, but we might not. But the flowers are going to be insane. The marble is going to be insane. They're just so smooth. It's very easy to build with marble blocks, especially if you like the modern stuff. Yeah. I like the modern stuff. Okay, so we make a single shape out of this. Select same fill color, fill columns. Boom, like that. And then we just copy over the style. So let's make a graphic style out of this. Boom. Apply it. Boom. Sure. Works for me. Works for me. Like, it's subtle, but it's there. Then we can double check. So let's see. Inner glow, 16 pixels. Inner glow, 16 pixels. It's good. Remove the old shape. Boom. Overgrowth is done. And now we have the flowers. And I can talk about them for hours. But let's not. Everyone asks, Firefly, how are you gonna spice up the flowers? And it's just like the Spice Girl said. Every boy and every girl, spice up your life. We are going to make them round. We're gonna make them round. We're going to place. I think we can just use placement here. We need to be in this layer. We're going to place our rounded displacement thing. So artwork production reference files, circular displacement. It says circular, but it's actually rounded. Whoop. Whoop. So let's call this flowers. We make a copy of this layer, duplicate the layer, duplicate flowers, flowers base. And the flowers base is just going to have a sort of in-between color for all of these parts, I think. I love building in general, Amelia says, wall of text. And I even won an award for building in different games several times in the past, but I must say, lol, if I had to face the Angeldust builders, I would just run away and hide behind the columns, indeed. And Niels B adds, hello. Hello, Niels. Niels is back. Niels is back. Okay, so this is the flowers outside base. Like we still have the flowers. We're going to do a trick with this. That's the real thing. Or lock the layer. We want to add roundedness to the flowers. So remove this part, remove this part, remove this part, remove this part. And we just set it to 250, 245. And then we add the roundedness to that. 245, 245, 245. So they're laying on top of the cinder blocks, and we're going to add a bit of roundedness to them. So that's that. Then we move over to this layer. Maybe we just approach it simpler than this. We don't need the extreme detail in this. Yeah, I'm a fan of not doing revert, 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 revert. Keep it simple, keep it simple. We just select this thing, make it white. We make this, the base portions of the flower we make white. Yeah, just like that. And they're sort of angled at the same thing, so maybe we just now add a linear gradient to them, like this. I won awards when I built schools in games though, 3 times in different games. When I built anything else such as a church, hotels or just houses, I never get any prizes. Hey, that's what happens, Amelia. Schools are apparently the best thing to build. See, let's not overcomplicate things. Let's just keep it simple. Let's just enjoy it, which is coincidentally what she said. Let's just enjoy it and not worry about it too much for the time being. We'll always have each other, she said. See, they're sort of angled at 45 degrees, so we add a bit of roundedness to that. It's subtle. I'll admit, it's subtle, but it's there. So that's for the outside of the flowers. Now for the inside. We can't go lower than 245, but we can do in between, so we can make these 250. 250 like this. No, we can't do 250. We need to do 245. And then we just make the center slightly darker. So let's go with a radial gradient here. Remove all of this stuff. Oh, we didn't even need that anyway. We don't have a school wonder just yet. We don't have it. See, we add a bit of depth to the flowers. Ruan, do you like it? Do you want it? Just a subtle bit of depth to it. Not flatly shaded, but smoothly shaded. I go log in. Ciao stream. Okay, have fun. And Amelia. Oh, Angelia. Angelio. Emilio. Angelia. That's the right combination. That's the right combination. We did it. You want it. Select same fill color. Same here. We use a linear gradient. And Angelia. We exaggerate the edges slightly. We don't exaggerate the edges slightly. We just fire and forget and hope that this is good. Okay, one side looks good, and then the other side, does this look good? Yep. Okay. A lot of work for this texture. Hopefully it pays off, so let's save it. This is our displacement map. Let's save it, let's see what it looks like. Cinder blocks column. Overgrown. Open it in Pixplant. Angelia. Argelia. It's all coming together here. Boom. Again, tiling only vertical. Or do we just say none at all? Because we will be flipping. I think we use tiling none here. Then we smooth the mirrors. Okay. There seems to be detail in portions of this. Ron says, There seems to be detail. So let's not judge. We're not judging. Ambient occlusion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, there is a lot of depth in it, especially in the center of the flowers. It seems Ruan is not happy. Why is Ruan not happy? Ruan should be happy. I'm calling it here. Ruan should be happy. Happier than you seem to be. But Firefly just seems... I'm happy, but I'm analyzing. Okay, you do that while I work on the next part, which is going to be even worse because we want the plants to be glossier. There's more. Yes, there's more. So we want to copy over this definition, this material definition, to our plants. So many files. This is one of the worst textures to do, I believe. But we soldier on. We copy over the albedo definition to the material base. We can close this file. That's one file closed. Boom. And then we have to copy over this color in there to the side. Select all of this. Copy that. Why is it getting mad at me? Please don't be mad, bro. Select same fill color. Make it this. Select same fill color. Make it this. Remove this. Boom. Ooh, this is the most sophisticated texture we've done so far. Which is good. We need a challenge. We need the challenge at times. Unlock. Relink with the new base material. And the overgrown base. Yep. And then we add the new ambient occlusion to that. Relink. Overgrown AO. Oops. AO. And I saved it under the wrong file name again. This just keeps happening. I just keep messing this up. It's not the additional, it's the without additional. It happens more than I'd like to admit. But we fixed it. We cool. Save it. There you go. A very, 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 very delicate texture, I would say. This is. Now, do we have 3 of them? We have cinder blocks column overgrown PBR material, cinder blocks column overgrown PBR normal, and then we should also have cinder blocks column overgrown PBR albedo. We got them. Publish it. It would be amazing if this would one shot, if we had this like done in one try, but I'm not holding my breath. We can't do this one just yet, but we will uncomment it later on. Let's do the code generation, convert the texture. And I think these are everywhere in the village, so we won't have a lack of sample blocks. We can probably just take a look at the build alone thing and then just see if it's good.
Oh, no time to waste. Let's go.
In fact, we already had them everywhere. Okay. Alright, so how about we place the overgrown cinder blocks right next to it? The color of the ivy is good. Supposedly the color of the flower is good. It might be a bit darker. But remember, the flower is now also shiny. It's shinier. There's definitely some layering going on in the texture, which is what I like. Maybe the flower can be slightly less shiny. I mean, a flower's petals are mostly sort of silkish instead of being like leafy-ish. There's some detail, there's some depth to the flower, which I like. Do we run with this? Do we make the inner portion of the flower white? Like give it a different color? Also, we are playing in normal quality here, but we can of course raise this to ultra, and then it's a bit sharper. But I think a lot of players will be playing in normal, so maybe let's not try to promote it as something it's not. Yeah, I feel the flowers are either too light or they are too shiny. On the other hand, we haven't finished any of the other textures just yet, so maybe we shouldn't worry about this too much. It's definitely an overgrown cinder blocks column. Now, of course, we still need to do the cap, but maybe we want to make sure that the flowers are good first. Or does the cap have a flower too? Oh, 2 even. So yeah, so we do need to make sure that the the flowers are good. But then we can just copy it over. Okay, so I want to make the flowers slightly less slightly less glossy. How do we go about that? How about that? Glossiness is on which channel? Glossy, roughness is on the blue channel. Blue channel, 76. Okay, so we probably want to raise that slightly for the flowers. Now, how do we define? Okay. Overgrowth, and then we make another layer for flowers. I think the easiest way to do it is just to make another layer and then just to ignore everything else. So we just copy over everything from the albedo. No. We need to work in this file. Boom. So now we have our flowers here. We can select them all. We color pick this, but then we make them less glossy. So let's everything below 127 will lower them. So we are already at 127 minus 7 divided by 2, that's 25 in the center, plus we should go with about 100. Let's try 100. Whoops. It might be hard to see, but there's a color difference between the flowers and the overgrowth in the back. Trust me, I'm a doctor. But I'm not a doctor. There's a tiny color difference, and that color difference signals to the engine that the flower should be less glossy than the overgrowth. Now I want to see if we can make like white sticks come out of the flowers. Maybe that will sort of like give your eye the sense that the flowers are slightly darker.
Time to waste. Let's go. Oh, no time to waste. Let's go.
Ah. Or not. Yeah. I see. In the original game we multiplied the color of the flowers by the color of the cinder blocks. And in this version we don't do that because we override the albedo. We override the albedo color. This doesn't sound like very intuitive, or it sounds hard to understand, but we do an albedo override on the material here in the base map. So for both the flowers and the overgrowth we say, hey, it's entirely cool that you want to do this stuff, but we want to have our albedo color. And so in real life, like in the old version, this gets multiplied by 0.8 or so, like the lightness of the cinder blocks. So we should indeed lower that value. And we already did that for the overgrowth, I believe. That's why the overgrowth looks as dark as it does. So let's select the same fill colors. Okay, so now we have everything open. We've got the new client, we've got the old Angeldust. Select same fill color, here we go. And then I still want to see if we can make a nice different color out of the center portion. So let's deselect those. Sure. Petals. Boom. Okay. Overgrowth. We need to untangle this mess slightly. This can go. And then we select everything Select same fill color. Remove this. Overgrowth. Let's do it the other way around. When will you stream raids again? It's every Saturday. So we just did one. Well, just did one. Mostly in the weekends. Those are called Angeldust Live. If you look at the stream schedule, just a quick demo here. If you go to the YouTube thing and then click live like this, you can see that we've got Firefly devs. It's this what you're looking at right now, and we've got Angeldust Live, which is the raids. So 2 days ago, oh yeah, this week I streamed on Sunday. Here, Angeldust Live. Angeldust Live. We've got everything these days. We have it all. Milk is vegetable comes in to say we need half block top part and lower part so that we can create one whole block just like in other games. Nope. Sorry Milk, sorry to disappoint you. If you want to play the other game, you have to play the other game. That's basically a stance that I'm very adamant of, but I appreciate the idea, but this is a different game. Like, do you also ask the $2 billion company to add column blocks, rounded, and PBR textures? Like, I can only do so much. I can't do it all. It's not to be like a party pooper or something, but like if you want to play the other game, just play the other game. It's as simple as that. We have different building techniques in our game, and I think they can both stand on their own. It's not something that I'm really interested in copying other games. Copying is so not me. So let's just lower the values of these. So 159. But maybe you've got other IDs, like original IDs. I gladly consider those. What did I just do? I made a color, but I didn't assign it to the flowers. Like, why not? Boom. Darker flowers. Amelia posts a smiling face. No, sir, it's the truth. I have no interest in copying other games or features. Like, if you've got good ideas, I gladly want to listen to them and hear them. But like, just copying a different game, that's just not my style. Right? So maybe, what do you call this in English? That part of the flower. Hey, you don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize, but I hope you understand. It's a completely different game. Like, we don't copy it. Stamper. Yeah, but stamper in English. This is not what I meant. Translate it. English, please. No, Dutch. This is Dutch to English. Pestle. Pistol? That's not what I mean. The pistil of a flower. Pistil, flower. Let's see. Plant anatomy. Pistil. Pestle. We've got the ovary, the style, and the stigma. Let's call it pistil. Let's call it pistil. Pestle. What was it called? That is upsetting. Pistil. The female organs of a flower. Pistils. There we go. It's all good. Well, we learned something today. I guess we all learned something today. So let's maybe make him the. You shouldn't show us what it looks like. You will get banned. Why not? It's botany. It's like nothing. What? This is common knowledge. Everyone knows this. Does anyone know what the original values were for the color that I'm using here? $115, close enough. How do I get back to the original color? I can do it like this. Okay, we made the new swatch, then we make another swatch of the light color. 114 it was. Okay. There are many ways that lead to Rome, as you can see. So one more time. Pistils. It's like these cowboys. Cowboys always have pistols, and they get in a fight. So there's nothing wrong with the word. Like, I want to fire my pistols. In Dutch we call it stamper, so that's why I was like looking for what a stamper was in English. But it's a pistol, there we go. Now, there you go. There you go. So the flowers are slightly darker now. They should be more in line with what the original style looks like. Is this the best look? You've got some nice pistols? Yeah. He's the fastest pistol slinger in the Wild West. There you go. But the texture connects nicely, like the swinging line is pretty nice. So the original texture design by Space and Robotic is very good. But I like this. I like this. So we've got 1 hour to make the top portion look the same or similar. And then maybe we're getting into overtime to make the marble column, which I'm sort of looking forward to. Yeah. Are there any wonders that use this block where we can check? Probably the Arctic Gate, right? So let's go to the Artisk Foruta, Bamboozle. It uses them here, but it's a bit dark. Does light ever fall onto this side? Okay, here we go, here we go. Ooh, nice. Dragon Throat Valley has got some, okay. And what number is Dragon Throat Valley, Ruwan? Can you explain to me? Already on it. About Dragon Throat Valley, let's see. It's number 17. Here we are. Where are they located? Oh, here's some. Here's one. And here below the lamp. Okay, okay, it's understated. It's understated, but it's a nice detail. I don't know. You built it. You built it.
Oh,
where are they? I don't know. That's not like the answer that you want to hear. There's fences you can find. Yeah, I already found one. Is there overgrowth on the chimney over here? There's one here in the back. I like it. It's very workable. Now, we could also imagine the pistils being a different color. Like yellow. Like yellow or something. But let's first stay true to the original texture. So at least we've learned that column block textures, they need to be non-tiling, because otherwise they will look funky. It's on a per block basis. I can't really remember where I put them. Well, we found a few already, everyone, so that's good. We can also check a random wonder. Saint Refour, south. Not sure if there's a lot of stuff going on here, but at least we have the cinder blocks for the market stalls. Hi Frank. Frank's still going. They look nice. Because of the way the texture is wrapped, and with the girders being a cross section, sort of like a six-sided cross piece, you don't really see the texture of the block, but it does have a bit of rounding to it, so it's good. Here we are in the north part of town. Yeah, not a lot of them here. Not to worry, not to worry. I think we have something that works. So now we make the top part similarly to what we did with the bottom part or the side parts. Let's get cracking. I like the pistols being a different, slightly different hue, so or shade. So let's keep that. Now we want to use this one as inspiration, and then we want to copy that style to this one. So let's call this cinder blocks. And then we make a new layer, overgrowth. And for that we have to open up the original file. Like, this is a very hard texture to get right, but once we get it right, once we get it done, I'm happy. Because it's a hard texture out of the way. Okay, focus on this one. Again, the first thing we want to do is to make sure that it is correct. So I think this is like the base that we are working from. I don't like that it shifts around slightly. Nope, no, not like that. We group it into one layer, okay? And then we move it like that. It's exactly 112 by 112, so this is useful. This is what we can use. Then we move to maybe the albedo first. Albedo first. So cinder blocks. And then the rest. Boom. I'm a fan of removing excessive detail like this. Select same fill color. This. One shape. Remove it. New layer. Over growth. We copy over the albedo from the other file. Boom, that's done. Then we have the petals. We can remove these details, as far as I'm concerned. Remove the highlighting. Copy. Sorry, we even cut them out. Cut. Paste on the petals. These are going to be the dark color. So And we learn a new word, pistols. Like every time I see a cowboy movie now, I will be thinking about pistols. It's just what happens. Good. Cinder blocks column overgrown, additional PBR albedo. Let's run with it. Hopefully this is a one shot and done. One and done deal. That would be very nice. So we can close this albedo file. And now we need to start working on our displacement. Which we will do by copying these layers over. And then we remove this one and say paste remembers layers. Boom. If everything in life were this easy. Let's not worry about those first. Let's first do the overgrowth. Day 5 of waiting for Firefly to put Sanrafar for the dev livestream thumbnail. Okay, okay. But tell me, Gaston, where do we go? Like, what's a good place to show off in Sanrafar, where we already have some new textures? Because I want to highlight the new things, like, do you have cinder blocks with overgrowth there, or do you have ruin stone? Do you maybe have metal pipes? Those are the things I'm looking for at the moment. Because those are the most recent changes. No Firefly, we have none of those. Then let me think about it. Ask Ruan, smiley face. Ruan just told us that there's not a lot of that stuff there, but don't worry about it. Now we want to copy over the flowers, sort of, but ooh. How do we do it? Basically, they're just gradients, right? Petals to the metals. This man. Let's just copy over one flower and see what we can do with it. Here we go. Copy that. Sure. And this one copies that. Okay. I'm not seeing the details just yet, but things are subject to change. I can feel it. Now we need to, this is 245. Okay, that's good, but okay, this is full white. Let's go. This is full white, and we sort of want to angle the gradient correctly here. So 45 minus 45. Yep. I can live with this. And then we move this over to 255. You could get some Sanrafar when you did the tree trunk. Yeah, that's used a lot there. Sounds like a good idea. Okay, I think those are the petals, and now we have to add the pistols. More gunslinging action next week on Firefly Live. And we also just copy over that gradient, but I'm not sure about the angle. We need to tweak the angles here. $60. Monkey. 30. No, this is entirely wrong. 120? Yeah, we're getting there. 130? No. 125. That's super good. Monkey. And then this one, we do the same trick. We rotate it 45. Nope. 120. Sure. Bada bing, bada boom, as we say in Dutch. Looks good. So this is going to be called Cinder Blocks Column Overgrown Additional Displacement in that folder. Hopefully we can one-shot it. We don't have to save this one. Then we open it up in Pixplan, as we always do. Don't save, open up the displacement. Cinder Blocks Column Overgrown Additional blah blah blah, no tiling. This is a normal map. It looks pretty funky, but I like it. You could ask questions like, do we tile this one? I don't think we tile this one. Cinder blocks. Cinder blocks. Cinder blocks column. Cinder blocks column. Overgrown. Additional. PBR. Normal. Good. Extract. Ambient occlusion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking very subtle, but hey, trust the process. Trust the plan. It's a MAGA here. Make Angeldust great again. We're just not bothered by anything else. Now we have to do the material trick. Oh, it's so much work, so much work. Which is what she said, but let's keep on trucking. So we combine the albedo and the other thing. We copy this over. I think I can close it. And then we just do the paste remembers layers trick. Boom. Then we do the overgrowth first, which is this color, which is this color. Boop. And then we do the petals and the pistils, slightly less glossy. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. And they're the wrong color. Looks like it is nearly done. Yes, it's nearly done. Crunchy, welcome. We are doing the overgrown cinder blocks column textures. Hi Corpse, how are you doing? Looking good. We've got flowers, we've got pistils. Crunchy, is pistil a word that you use in America? For the sort of like the roots or the stems or the things that are coming out of a plant? Do you call them pistils? I had to look up the word because I wasn't really familiar with the term, but my dictionary said pistil. So I said, this sounds a lot like a cowboy movie where people are shooting with pistols. But that's with an O. Pistol is with the I, pistol. Corpse is doing fine. I'm doing fine as well. We're making some great progress on a new texture. There are so many things that I can show you that have changed. Okay, we've got this, the albedo, and we also should have the normal map. Yeah, it's that one. Publish. Now we also have this texture, so we can uncomment this line. Then we just code generation, and we convert the texture. We call them stems. Okay. Yeah, it was a word that like stamper in Dutch, like it sounds like stem, stamper, stamper. Stem. Apparently the botanical term for it is pistil, but we learned something. Next time we'll call them stems.
Oh, no time to waste, let's go.
And looky here. Looky here. It even connects to the sides. Probably won't hold for every single of these, but it nicely connects. The colors are identical. I believe that the shading is also good. We've got the ambient occlusion working, so I say for this style, this is the cinder blocks column. I hope you... Yeah, it connects nicely on this side. And it Connects nicely on that side. Yo, this is cool, Ruan says. It's pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty good. It took a bit of time, took a bit of finagling to get it right, but it connects nicely and it just looks very good. Now we can also use them in the horizontal orientation, like this. So let's place a few of those, see what that looks like. In fact, we can do a 6-sided pole like this. Good, 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 good. It connects and it's perfection, yes. Good, nice. So one thing to worry about in this style is, since we are not using a lot of albedo tricks, and this texture does use albedo for the overgrowth and for the petals. Albedo is the material color in the within the texture. Like, does it still look consistent? And I think it does, because we use these nice areas of color. So instead of having shading inside of it, we use areas of color now. And we let the material itself do the rendering, the shading on it. So the overgrowth having like lighter edges on it, it's all good. It's exactly what you would expect from it. So we don't shade the color channel, but we do add a color channel. In all, I think this is very good, and it's very consistent with the overgrown full block. So let's place that next to it. So the shading on the overgrowth itself should be identical. We can't have the same angle right here, but that's not a problem. Let's place a column block below this. Like, in all, this looks very, very solid, very good. Alright, let's run with it. So Crunchy, some work that we did, I'm not sure if you're watching, but some blocks can now be angular and some of them can be smooth. So this pipe is smoothly rendered. It also is hollow. And the cinder blocks column is angular. So this has got very sharp transitions between the faces, and the pipe is very very smooth. Same with the bamboo. The bamboo here is smooth, but the brick chimney is not smooth. So that's finally committed to the code base. And also the tapering blocks, so the repetition on the roofs is now gone, so the roofs look spectacular. Crunchy says works for me. I'm glad. I mean, take a look at the roof over here. Pixel zoom, warning, pixelated. But it's just so nice. It really feels like proper roofing tiles. Okay, so this cinder blocks column, it got done much quicker than I expected.
Oh, no time to waste.
Let's go to a random wonder, see if we can find one. City of Runeterra. Don't think this one has it. Don't think this one has it. I now sort of want to start doing the marble columns, see what we can make those look like. I'm having an idea in mind, and I don't mind the idea, basically. Dragonthroat Valley one more time, Ruan, you're in luck. Even though we didn't find a lot of them, maybe we can find some of them. I think there was one over here. Yeah. It's nice. And it connects. How does it connect? How does this work? Why does it work? I have no idea, but it works. Is Spaces Green a genius? Okay, Spaces Green is a genius, but how does it work? Here again, it connects. This looks nice. Is it coincidence? Or did people just place them only in places where it works? Like, theoretically, it cannot work. It cannot connect always. It's impossible. It cannot be done. But still, in practice, so far we only see where it connects. This one. Are you not connected? It also connects. It's impossible. There's no way that this works. Simply.
Oh, no time
It
to
cannot
waste.
work. It cannot be done. See, because on this block it doesn't connect. So there will be orientations in which it doesn't connect. Why do they keep connecting? It's impossible. Because if it connects on all of the real world blocks, why does it not connect on the one in my hand? Spaces Green is a genius. Yeah, we already deduced as much. Space, how does it work? How can this texture connect on all of the sides? It gets flipped. How does it work? Or is the genius that you make this curve shape and it ends in the same corners on all faces? Is that the genius? I mean, props to you if you figured this out. It does connect everywhere. Hey, get out. Nature will find a way. Yeah, okay, but this is a very evasive answer. It's non-committal, it doesn't tell me anything. It works though. How's it going? It's going pretty well. We made this cinder blocks overgrown texture columns thing, and it just looks so good. Like we use the original work and we try to add a bit of information to it, so we have displacement and coloring to it. Okay. Okay, Spaces Green just simply is a genius. That's the conclusion. Good, good then, good. So then I'm wondering, why don't we flip it over in the hand so that it connects here? Because, take a look, it doesn't connect like this. Does that hold for other blocks as well? Are these just all rendered incorrectly? They might be. Because it would feel more natural to see the bricks in another orientation, but something to consider. I'm gonna put this on my list and I will get back to it. Ik zet het op mijn lijst. Column, block, top, face, in, hand, cinder, overgrown. Okay, and also the stairs, block, normals. They connect in the corner, yeah. But there are 4 corners and it only connects in 2. And it is... I do not know how it works. It's magic, but I'm trusting the magic. Corners really looks better now. Hey, you look better now. That's just how it goes. Right, okay, cool. So I'm pretty sure that with this texture done, we have the entirety of the cinder blocks set done. We've got the big blocks, we've got the small blocks, we've got the overgrown blocks, we've got the column block, and we've got the overgrown column block. So if I open up this, it's 21 textures that we have here, but I think it's done. I think it's done and it's a very consistent set. So that's good, that's good. It's nice, even, you might call it. So next up, do we replace an existing texture? Like one that I want to do is the plaster. I want to see if we can make the plaster more smoothed. Because this one is using the hand-drawn normal map, which is fun, which is cool. But maybe we can make a better one using our new process, more consistent one. But I also want to make a marble pillar. I basically want to toss these out. This is also a hand-drawn normal map. I basically want to toss these out, and but we can do the marble pillar next to these and see what the style looks like. Because honestly, when I saw Lucas's Wonder, which is the... what is it called?
Oh, no time to waste, let's go.
Le Royaume. Let me look it up, which number it is. It's one of the older wonders, but once I saw the marble columns there, I thought they don't need much regarding texturing. It's wonder number 8. And now specifically this Greek, I'm gonna call it Greek style temple.
Been looking for this.
Long-time players of Angeldust will know, and you can subtly see it in the rendering here, that materials have a color range already. So you will see darker and lighter portions in the marble already, but these columns, they look so sharp without any additional color added to it. I feel this is the way that marble can look in the game. The columns specifically. So not talking about the stairs or the building itself, but the columns. So I want to add the grooves to them, and I think that's about as much as we want to add. Maybe we just increase the color contrast slightly more so that you get a better feel of the large scale of this. But I think that marble can be one of the materials in the game that doesn't even need a lot of texture specifically. I think marble can be just a very flat, glossy surface, and that would be the defining property of marble, because it's like that in real life. We'll see you get out, but get out now. and maybe even the grooves are too much already. So let's get a feel for what that looks like. How that works. So we're going into the marble folder. I think we'll do marble. We've got about 45 minutes. And let's see what we can make out of that. Because I sort of want to eat lunch at a regular time here. Marble pillar, I think they are called, or are they called marble columns? We'll see. Marble pillar, yes, marble pillar. And then we want to emulate this look. My interpretation of this texture is that the background of this, so not the dark stripes, but the background is sort of the colorization of the marble. And then these dark stripes indicate where there are columns, grooves cut out of the column. And this is representing the shadow that falls into the grooves. We are going to make our own grooves. And we can do something groovy with them. There's two approaches to this. So let me look up. Crunchless marble is one of my favorites. Yeah, so we need to make it look spectacular. So let's look up marble column, because you can have a different profile to the grooves in them. Like we have this look already. We have this look. This is computer generated, so this is as artificial as our stuff. But this is the look. This is the look. It's just very smooth, very little color differences going on. This is the look. This is what we want. And we want to make it like this. Have these grooves in there. And I think these grooves are hollowed out. So the side profile looks like the circle. So we can use our circular displacement for this. Like this. Yeah. I'm not sure if this is a photograph or if this is a rendering. But this is sort of the look that we want to go with. So maybe we deviate a little bit from the look of the old blocks. But don't worry, don't cry for me, Argentina. It's going to be something different. It's going to be amazing. But we'll still use the same overall layout. So this is going to be the albedo, the coloring. We don't use it. Marble, pillar, PBR. Albedo. I forgot the albedo part. I was already thinking like, this name is very short. We save it, boom, and now we make the displacement. New. 224, 480. So the background is going to be white. Because we want the raised portions to be like raised. Sounds logical. So this is the base and these are the grooves. Groovy baby. And am I alone here in thinking that we can place the circular displacement? So earlier it wouldn't work. Artwork production reference files, circular displacement. Boom. Then we scale this because we want it to be okay, like this. And now we need to invert the colors. And I'm not sure if Illustrator allows me to do difference here. It allows me to do difference here, and I think this is perfectly what we want. This is the opposite of what we had. So the dark gray stripes will be in the displacement map instead of in the albedo map. I'm thinking this should be one of the shiniest blocks. It is. The material is shiny, crunchy. So for your comfort, it's shiny, it's glossy, it's exactly what you want out of it. So let's go to Psychedelia by Infamous. You missed this, I think, last time, Crunchy. Or maybe you were here. You said, like, take a look at the marble, the girders and the columns. It's so shiny and glossy and rounded. We're just going to add these grooves in here. And the grooves must be rounded too, to keep in line with the spirit of the material. And it's going to look sick, I think. It's going to look absolutely sick. So this is super shiny. Shiny. Super cool. And here we have, here the Material Museum actually uses some overgrown cinder blocks. See, those are rendered squarely, like angularly. Those are not smooth, those are flat shaded, and these are rounded. So it's going to be super amazing. Now we need to get a feel for the layout of these blocks. We open up this file. And this artboard is, messed up beyond belief. So Spaces Green might be a genius, but sometimes their Illustrator files are slightly inconvenient to work with. Like, why is this 299 by 640? That doesn't make any sense. Remove these layers. We can remove all of these layers. Boom. They're just gone. Now we need to get a feel for how thick everything is. So these are 41 point whatever pixels wide out of 299. This is very convenient to work with. 490, 299 times 224. That means ours are going to be 30 pixels wide, give or take. Basically, we're dividing everything by 3. So what's 224 divided by 3? That's not nicely rounded. Must have been robotic. Let's start the blame game. Okay, overall layout is pretty good. So I do like sticking with powers of 2 because they will probably look better when scaled down. So let's just, and we need to preserve the rounded appearance, sort of. So let's make 3 of these. There we go, that's good. I'm not sure if they should be super deep cuts like this, but we can take a look at what the texture looks like. And now we need to divide them so that there's an equal amount of space between them. So we have 224 minus 96, which is the 3 columns, which is 128. Is this divisible by 3? Nope. So maybe we do have to go with a 224 minus 93. Is also not divisible by 3? Nope. There's no way we can do this, can we? 90? One, 3, 4. This is also not divisible by 3. We always end up with this 2/3. With the 2/3 of the herd. Okay. Huh. That's just the way it is, isn't it? The texture is mirrored. We can maybe fake something here. Let's just stick with the 32 for now. Let's make a first version of the texture. Let's not get... How do we get this to align perfectly? One is in the center, one is in the center, like exact center, boom. Which is, if we take a look at the center point, 112. That's very logical. And where do we then put these on the sides? Like, what's mathematically correct? Do we eyeball them? This one is almost perfectly aligned. So let's 42. And then this one is 224 minus 42. Boom. Groovy, baby. Let's run with it. Displacement, bam. We make something first and then we perfect it. Perfecto. Marble pillar. Displacement, boom. Oh, they are so nice. Well, the grooves are a bit deep. So it's a bit deep, which is what she said. And you can see where they connect. Oh, but we are mirroring instead of doing this. So there is some asymmetry to this, but it's a first version. Let's see what we can make out of it. We smooth it. That's nicely smooth. I like this. And then we call this marble pillar PBR normal. We extract a ambient occlusion map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This looks nice. This is exactly what you would expect it to look like. We're not using tiling at the moment, or yeah, we disable tiling because these textures are being mirrored, so that's also good. This is the AO. We don't want to have a very spectacular material map because the material is going to look the same everywhere, so maybe we can just copy over the bricks chimney and use that in the marble pillar. Marble pillar PBR material base, marble pillar PBR material. The base is empty, is flat, that's good. Displacement, save it as is. And we replace the bricks thing with the marble pillar. First the ambient occlusion, and then we replace the material base. That's looking good already. Which should now give us 3 marble pillar things. Okay, the normal map, the material map, and the albedo is probably slotted into this one. Yes, sure. Publish it. And then we look up the marble pillar. Black. Okay, that's the base marble pillar. So let's texture name cartoon style is going to be PBR style. We can already do this line as well. Marble pillar PBR. Marble pillar additional PBR. This is the texture that we're going to make next. But we'll comment this one out for now because we don't want to use it. We don't have it. Updating all the stuff, that's good. And now we run with it, see what it looks like. I hope it's good, but maybe we're in for a surprise. Let's see.
No time to waste, let's go.
Do we go to Lucas first? Let's go to Lucas first. Oh, okay. I'm digging this. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. See the additional shininess that's now on the columns? If we get the symmetry right, then I think this is a perfect addition. Like when you get up close, this is just so good. Oh, and then, oh, shadow falls onto it like this. Ah. Don't mind the haters, I like it. The effect might be a bit strong, but still. We've got marble pillars below the table all day long. Now seriously, this looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I might be a fan of like maybe decreasing the amount of grooves, so maybe going with 2 in the texture, because right now it might be a bit too much. It's shiny, yeah. It's definitely shiny. Like on this column, when the sunlight is hitting it, I like the effect, but it might be a bit too noisy in a way. On the other hand, it looks pretty good. Let's see what Psychedelia does with the girders mixed in there as well. Okay, never mind the cap. So the cap is something that we have to still do. Compared to the Google photo again, yeah, we can do that. So I'm thinking like maybe we remove one of the strips, like one of the grooves. I think there are a bit too many grooves here. The material was a bit nicer when it had less grooves in there. Fewer grooves. So again, it might be a departure slightly from the original texture, but we try to make them look good. On the other hand, this looks stunning. The view from here looks stunning. This one. Hey, they're pretty much identical. They're pretty much identical. Crunchy. The way the light falls on it, it's almost a one-on-one rendering of it. There was a flattish line in between. Yeah, but it's what we already did. We already copied that. Yeah, they are pretty much identical. I see now. This one. Like this one has got bigger grooves and then smaller thin lines in between, so... Everyone says, same. Okay, like, I don't like the caps. The caps are a bit weird. We're going to fix them. But no, seriously, this is a very good start. The only question I have is, do we want to have less grooves, like fewer grooves in there? Or is it good like this? Do they need to be smaller? It depends on which you like more, indeed. But the rendering itself and the effect itself is very, very decent, very good. So, how do we approach this? Maybe removing one is too much. We could also make them less deep. That's also one potential avenue to take this into. Yeah, now for the perfecting touch. Do we move? Let's measure. The inner groove distance is 38 pixels. And the distance to the sides here is 26 pixels. So if we move them to the sides, like boom, boom. Remember, this is mirrored, so we want this to be half the size of the inner thing. So we're now at 39 versus 25. So maybe we move them out just one more pixel. Getting very close to the original. Because Space is Green is a genius. 40 pixels. 24, okay, so one more. And then I think we should be symmetrical. 41. 42-ish. 23. Like this. 42. 22. This is about as close as symmetrical, I think, as we can get them. So let's run with this. That looks pretty tasty. That looks pretty tasty. And maybe this will get rid of the noisiness as well, because it's now spread out more equally. Close them all. Open the displacement. Because the original has 3 grooves, I think we want to retain 3 grooves. Does it make a difference if I tile this? It shouldn't. Doesn't make a difference. No. Boom. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this sort of shows you that the original texture, which was pretty nice in and of itself, is really a accumulation of different material properties all rolled into one, like ambient occlusion, displacement. So really great job by Space and Robotic there, making those original textures. And we are taking that work and trying to elevate it to a higher level, which cannot be done because they were already perfect.
Oh, no time to waste, let's go.
But still we try. Le Royaume. We back. Should be a subtle difference, but should just add a slight touch of symmetry to it now.
Oh.
Yeah, it feels much more balanced this way. Not sure what it looks like when the light falls onto it. Just like that. And now I think I would be a fan of slightly lowering the contrast, so making the groove less thick so that we get less contrast in it. Giving the idea of the grooves, but not confusing the eye as much. Because it might be a bit too strong if you have smaller arrangements, like those table legs, chair legs. So speaking of perfecting it, we're gonna do it. And how do we do it? Now that they are in the correct place, we can draw these rectangles below it. It sort of feels like I'm being scammed here by Illustrator. 168, 38. 186, that's good. 38, okay. Then one in the center. 112, okay. Now we need to find the color that we use for subtraction. Yeah, but no. We just use the transparency for this. So halfway, quarter. Like what's the right depth to this? 33%, 40%? Let's do the binary search thing. 50%. That's what we run with first. This is an empty layer. I can remove this. So let's make the grooves slightly less deep. Because if you look at the profile in Pixplant, they are almost twice as deep as we would expect them to be. Yeah, this is already more circular. And that might just smooth out everything. Just a wee bit. Because I like the effect, but we shouldn't go overboard with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Publish and run with it.
Oh, no time to waste, let's go.
Let's check in the same place, because if I go to a different build, things might look different at all. Yeah, this brings back a bit of the original detailing, the color differences in the material itself. It makes the grooves more subtle, slightly more subtle. There you go. And it leans a bit more on the ambient occlusion now, instead of like having very deep contrast in it. Though I wouldn't mind if they were slightly deeper. I think. Let's check at psychedelia, so maybe we do the in-between, like 75%. Now here it is pretty nice. Here it's pretty nice, especially with the light reflecting off of the columns. So maybe this is the way to go. Opinions? Anyone? I think this more subtle look to it is nicer. It's we should probably see it when more textures are added, but I feel it's a bit nicer, especially at a distance. It's just a bit more subtle. Otherwise, it might be too much. It makes the material, the color difference, like this is a darker, more orangey spot, and this is more grayish, so it makes the material pop out a bit more. Still, I like the exaggerated effect a lot too, so let's try in between, 75%, which looks very dark all of a sudden. But we try it. And doing more of these live streams, you start to notice a pattern. Some textures, they are like copies of existing textures or tricks and styles we already did. And now with this marble, we're running into the like the situation where we're close, but we're having to find a new effect, and then it's a bit of tweaking and a bit of refining before we get it absolutely perfect. But it's those small touches that make up for a nice whole. So we want to stick with a balanced look. We want to make things look good, and currently that looks good here. That's nice.
Let's go.
Hopefully this still looks good. So we're now at 75%. Roundedness. Okay, this is definitely a lot harsher in the grooves.
Been looking for this.
Which makes them look better at a distance, but it's too harsh up close. So I feel that we're going to have to be in between somewhere. So that would be 62.5. Again, we do binary search. We either double or halve the value until we find something that works. And we just do the same thing one more time. Displacement. Something went wrong. Why does the file not show up? There we go. I'm not even sure if it makes any difference in the ambient occlusion, but I want to remain as technically correct as possible. So let's do it like this. Crunchy says, it reminds me of going to the eye doctor for a new eyeglasses prescription. They probably approach it from the same direction indeed, like go to extremes and then go in between and then to quickly hone in on the perfect prescription for your glasses. Like they go +4, 0, +4, and then +2, and then in between. It's that way you don't waste a lot of time on values or settings that don't make a lot of sense. So we had like super obvious, then we had more subtle, and now we have, I think, oh, this feels so good. I think the too bold effect wasn't that nice. It was just a bit too bold, literally. The too subtle effect was a bit too subtle, and I think this is a very nice in-between value. Oh, take a look at the way that this marble now reflects. It's I cannot put into words how good this looks. This column, like I could, can I stand in this corner? Yeah. Oh, just the way that the lighting got, the texture. Lovely. Don't mess with it. That's what she said. Let's go to well, let's go to Lucas's build, I was going to say, but let's not go to Lucas's build. Maybe we can do a time lapse here. See what the different lighting angles look like on the marble. Marble to the left, marble to the right, and I'm stuck in the middle with you. Lovely. Can zoom in on this portion here. Let's see what happens when the light actually falls on. I'm gonna take a screenshot. So if you see the screen pause for one moment, it's because of the screenshot. Lovely. Don't mess with it. Now the real trick is we needed to have this value set up correctly because of the caps. Because now we're gonna make the cap texture. I like it. We're keeping it like this. I'm absolutely gobsmacked at the look of this. So, boom, let's go. Now that we have the sides, we can make the cap. No cap. Same deal, 2 to 4, 2 to 4. And this is the marble pillar additional PBR albedo. Crunchy said this is one of my favorites, maybe the best. Yeah, it's just the way that we can add, we have the roundedness in the engine and then we add the roundedness in the texture and it combines for such a rich, lovely look. Of course there will be haters, people saying, but I don't mind the haters. Like they can say all day long and I wouldn't mind it. Okay, so the cap looks like this. We need to now make a cap that has grooves on all sides. And the fun thing we can do here is that we can introduce a round shape. Because we made the grooves circular, I think we can go with a round shape here. To pretend that the grooves are everywhere. One tweak that I don't want to do, one tweak that I do not want to do, so this is not what I want to do, but you could imagine us doing it like this. You could imagine us making the texture like this. So we could add rounded portions to the sides like this, so that they would connect nicely to a solid cap. See what I mean? This is what we saw on the Google images thing. We could make them rounded in this texture like this. The downside of doing it is that the pillars are suddenly no longer pillars, but they get these in between horizontal lines on them. This would make for perfect caps at the end. It would look perfect for the caps. But I think it's not a great idea. It's not a great idea to introduce this horizontal visual noise and then break up the pillars, because I think the like Crunchy says no, that would need to be its own block. Like it makes for a nicely rounded texture. The original doesn't do this, and it doesn't do this for a reason, because it's just too cluttered and you break up the nice pillar thing that you've got going on. Like, it's a nice texture. Hey, it's a nice texture. But when you repeat this, you break up the pillars. So we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. I agree, Crunchy. I'm with you, brother. So what we then do is the following. We create an ellipse, 32 by 32, because that's the size of the grooves that we have. It's awesome, but a completely new block. I'm with you. You got it. So then we just start adding these at the points where the originals are. So this is 112, and this one was 186. 2 to 4 minus 38, 186. Yeah, that's great. And then we move these over to the bottom side, just like that. And name it end block. Yeah, but we can't name it end block because of reasons. Group, copy, paste, rotate them. There we go. So we're going with a rounded look to these. I think that will look good. Like in this style we can do different tricks compared to the original. Just a bit of a subtle detail to indicate that these sides are rounded. If it doesn't look good, we can switch them out for squares. And now we sort of want to give the appearance of these going outwards. Know what I'm saying? So maybe I should have done this earlier. In fact, indeed, let's do it on the initial one. So we add a gradient to this. We rotate the gradient like this. And then we want to have this stop, this endpoint be at 50%. There we go. So this makes it look like if the groove is actually cut out of the top. So that's nice. Do we want the groove to be cut out on the sides sharply like this, or do we want to use a radial gradient instead? And then invert this so that it's more cut out of cut out more subtly. What would the tool look like that you use for this? Loki says, I'm gonna get some sleep. I'm amazed that you're here at all, Loki. It's 4:30 or so in your time zone. Go catch some sleep. We'll see you later. Trial and error, Crunchy says. Thanks for being here, Loki. It's been a blast. Hope you enjoyed yourself and hope you saw something interesting. Maybe even learned something. Thanks for being here. I think Crunchy is right. We just trial and error this. There we go. Then this is the displacement map. We just run with something and we tweak it if we don't like it. Okay, maybe it's not a bad idea to add a white background to this. There we go, that's the displacement map. We can close all of the old stuff. Swiss cheese. But you can sort of get a feel for what our corners are supposed to look like. It's supposedly a rounded, slanted side where the cap is at. So if we put the UVs at 1 by 1 like this, and then disable the displacement, it's okay. It's very, very special. But in the engine, it's going to look different. This is nice. So you can see that the grooves are tapering out to all sides here. So we definitely don't want to have tiling in here. So let's just smooth this one out like this. I literally have no clue what is going on now, but I'm happy at all. I have no idea what's going on here. We're gonna save this normal. I hope it's not a problem in the program I'm using in Pixplant. Matter marble pillar additional PBR normal, that's good. Then we extract the ambient occlusion map, which is only going to be a few dents in the side. Entirely reasonable. And then we call this additional PBR AO. It's a new Crunchy block. Yeah, it's fan service for you, Crunchy. People know you like it. You like it like that. Marble pillar. Marble pillar. Marble pillar. There you go. The base is going to be flat, and then here we will replace both files to the marble pillar. Yup. And now we want the Swiss cheese holes on the sides. Let's go. It's subtle. As usual, I'll listen while getting ready for you know what. Yes. Don't worry about it. I'm also getting ready for lunch, so we're all going somewhere today. I just want to make this cap look good, have an idea of where we want to take it, and then it'll be good. We'll have done a few textures today. I'm happy with the cinder blocks and the overgrown version of it. Took a lot of time to get right, but we did it. We got the job done. And it looks pretty good. So now I think we can just keep visiting Psychedelia.
Oh, no time to waste, let's go.
Because we need to see the caps of the block. Okay, back with the smooth look on the caps. Much better than having the ridges in there. And now the question is, does this look like a proper ending for the grooves? Does it connect nicely? Oh, the pillar, it just feels so good. I think it does. See, like, we have the hard transition, of course. We could do something about that, but I think that the hard transition is pretty nice. Or do we want to... We could also round off the corners on the block to make it slightly better, maybe. On the other hand, we have very sharp transitions in the marble otherwise. So I think we can have a nice distinction. It's playful. It's playful to have rounded portions inside of a very strictly flat cap. I think this is absolutely perfect. It's a nice continuation of the detail on the grooves, on the sides, and then the cap is just flat. Yeah, sharp is better. I agree. I tend to agree with you, Crunchy. Let's take a look at this side. Like, basically it's good as is. We just pretend that the grooves are cut out of the cap and go into the pillar, and it's a subtle transition. They're, I think, correctly aligned. I think the lines connect nicely. Let's... Maybe we have to do cinematic mode? No, it's absolutely perfect. It's perfectly aligned. I think we can run with it. Tiny bit darker, impossible, Ace. We already used the 255 to 0. We already used the entire spectrum there. Or we need to do a pix plant trick where we scale the normals a bit more. I think we can run with this. I think it's absolutely perfect. Oh, Crunchy says, oh, tiny bit darker. I don't want to mess with it. I think this is it. I think this is it. This is just the cap. Okay. Does Lucas have any caps visible? Any caps showing?
Hey, sweetheart.
Like most of it, like it's only using columns as columns. But it's good to visit this one with the 62.5% displacement, which sounds like an arbitrary value, but we got there. Ooh, it feels so good. Come on, this feels so good. These marble pillars. What? I had some expectations. I was expecting them to start to look good if we added some grooves, but I never expected them to look this good. It's almost criminal. It's almost criminally good. Oh, here we are. I like it. It's good enough. Like, you do get the illusion that the grooves are cut out of the pillar, out of the cap. It's just a nice shape that you don't see anywhere. I'm hug a pillar in the game when it comes out. You'd better. Oh, I can't get enough of this. I just can't get enough of the marble pillars. Ah, just the way that everything ties together now. Ay. See the highlights on there and the lighting itself. That's good. Now where do we have more marble pillars? City X Bronx, do you have any marble pillars? Please, sir. Oh! We need to go to Senavoy. That's going to be the end of the stream. We'll visit Senavoy and look at the marble there. There's a lot of marble there, the red marble. Senavoy is our marble pillar marketplace. It's the Japanese style built by Angelio. We're going there now. Check this out. It's going to look amazing. See? Yeah. These are the marble girders and columns. They're used mostly everywhere. It just adds a bit of texture. The bottoms, like pixel zoom, warning. The caps have just this tiny bit of flavor on them. I didn't mind them when they were flatly shaded. That was also a very nice look to them. But I think this just adds a little bit more marbleness to them. And as we saw on the Google image search or the DuckDuckGo image search, marble pillars with grooves, it's such a common occurrence that you want it. Just so good. Just so good. And from a distance they look properly rounded, and once you get closer you start to see more and more details with the grooves coming into play. Here, amazing shading. Amazing shading just all around. The bamboo poles also rounded, also looking good there. Of course, this drives us into a corner regarding the main marble material, but we can take a look at that next stream or so. Just check it out, the marble. Marble madness. What is this then? Oh, a steel rod. Okay. Hello, adventurer. Hello. Perfect ending. We sit on the marble bench. Just like that. That's a big bench, I know, but there we go. Another great set of textures done today. We might not have done too much, like we did cinder blocks column, cinder blocks overgrown column, and the marble pillar. But the end result is spectacular though. So 3-hour live stream, 3 textures. So 1 hour per texture still holds, sort of. Now I do believe there's a problem with the normal mapping on the stairs blocks. Probably have to investigate that later on. But I can do that like by myself. Someone was asking for a Sanrofar shot for the next thumbnail. Let's see if we can make a nice screenshot here. Crunchy ants, I bought so many new blocks and ran out of coins to get this one. Time to grind at my machine. Yeah. Yeah, there are nice blocks, but you will have to earn them though. You will have to earn them. Is there any way of getting the sunlight onto this market stall? Not really, so we probably want to shoot for a different one. Or maybe from this side. Also, we can just do one at the center void. This one, like Sanrofar, will get its time in the limelight as well. Wood chips is also an interesting texture that we should do. Wood chips, gravel, gold, it's the same base texture. It's one we would need to look into.
And now we found the loot and we're happy.
Pops. Customer, jolly good show. Yeah, there you go. Would you like to buy something, sir or madam? Maybe. What do you have? A decorated shield. Okay. No, it's fine then. Hey Pops, don't be so hostile to me. Neil. San Carlos. Oh yeah. So, let's stay focused. Marble pillar, nice texture. We did it. Great job, everyone. Let's pat ourselves on the back. We can close Illustrator. We can close the code generation here. Close Texture Packer. We're making good progress. I'm enjoying this. Now, the only thing that I want to check to make sure, or maybe it can be a nice topic for the next live stream, is if there's indeed a problem with the normals of the stairs blocks. I think I got them right, but maybe I didn't. So let's go into normal map view.
Oh, no time to waste, let's go.
And let's start placing some stairs. So I fixed the normal mapping on the mirrored blocks. Now we need to take a look at the normal mapping on the stairs blocks. Some very nice normal maps going on these overgrown blocks. But I will remove them for now. We don't really need them. Okay, the pipes, those are coming up next as well. It's going to be very cool and amazing. So maybe let's place one marble pillar here, just to show off how cool we are. I like the white one best. Oh, just take a look at it. The normal map itself is insane already. Okay, so we want to take a look at these stairs blocks. And then let's take the roofing tiles, because those are... Yeah, there is definitely... Yep. There is definitely something funky going on with these normal maps. They are not being oriented correctly. You can already tell that by this top face. Like, there are tiles connecting here that have flipped normals. So this is something that we do need to investigate and fix, because these are used mostly everywhere, and they probably account for a lot of like weird lightning things going on in the world. So if we take a look at any wonder, like I think any wonder at all will have this block. Cinnamon Village
And now we found
could be
loot
the
and
exception
we're
to the rule.
Nothing like that.
Treasure smell.
But come on, the stairs are everywhere. Stairs are really everywhere. So I'm not sure why this slipped through the cracks, like why this problem is there. But it's something that I need to investigate and fix. And once it's investigated and fixed, things will look so much better. Because there are a lot of wonders that will have incorrect normals on them. Any here? No, I will just open up Neferspi. Neferspi built by Obi. Bobby.
Why aren't we doing
Stairs, here, stairs. Incorrectly aligned, incorrectly aligned. These should be flipped horizontally. And are there more stairs? I think that this could be a major factor into why some things look bad. These are correctly oriented compared to the cinder blocks next to them. But then the top face is incorrect. Should be flipped. Oh, that's going to be a huge change. This is probably like the next live stream where we investigate and fix this, because it adds so much more realism if everything is correctly shaded. Here the front faces are correct, so maybe front faces are good, but then the top faces on this one flipped horizontally. Maybe that's the only trick. Maybe front faces are good. Let's see, this front face. Yeah, seems to be correctly aligned, but then the top face is flipped horizontally. So there's some work to be done on those. Here again, front face is good, top face is flipped. Should be an easy fix. We should be able to figure it out soon enough, but it's going to be a bit of a change thing. Whatever. Again, front face is good, top face flipped horizontally. So I think that's a major factor as to why stairs look weird. It's also in the village probably. So in the starting village.
Oh, no time to waste. Let's go.
And I know some of you might not be a super fan of like this normal view and having to do some coding at times, but sometimes you have to. You cannot escape. Okay, front face is good. Again, front faces are good. And then the top face is flipped horizontally. You could fix this with your eyes closed. I could, but I'm not sure if it would work. Like my initial reaction is if I go to stairs block measure, my initial reaction is to just flip them. Is to just flip this stuff. So we are in the orthogonal stairs, so diagonal stairs are even worse, but let's see, orthogonal stairs, upside down triangular slope face, oh, those we also have to check. Bottom face, orthogonal stairs face creation. Back face, the bottom step, here we go. So this is the top face, front face, so this is good. And then here we have the top face, and we add this quad of VFR blah blah blah. You see that? And my initial reaction is to say, okay, VRF MB dot model vertex dot normal map orientation X is something, and we copy this 4 times. And then int 8 min. We're flipping these. That's my initial reaction, but this is going to take a lot of work to get right, because now all of the other steps are going to be messed up. But hopefully this fixes the first step on the stairs. Nope. It didn't. Oh, but we delegate to add quad. And what does add quad do? It sets up the normal orientation based on the flipping. Oh, then the fix is even simpler, isn't it? Texture coordinates flipped. Then it's even simpler. Then we just add a question mark here, or an exclamation point.
Oh, no time to waste. Let's go.
Boom shakalaka. Here we go. Now it's fixed. We already had code for doing this. Yeah, see? Eat your lunch, tackle this all together in another stream? Yes, I will. So for the top faces, we can now set this thing. So I want to do a quick demo here. So let's open up pbr.frag. Let's move out of world normal space. Stairs have always looked a bit weird in this style, and now I know why. I also thought it had something to do with the lighting or so, but take a look at where the lamps shine on these top steps. Like the lighting is in the incorrect place, sort of. So let's take a screenshot, and then we do the patch again. So we go to the top face, bottom step, top face, then we have the middle step, top face, we do exclamation point, top step, top face, boom. And now it should be much better.
Oh, no time to waste. Let's go.
Very quick fix, but I indeed want to go eat lunch. But let's take one more screenshot here. Things should look a bit more natural now. So I'm not sure if it's visible on this screenshot. This was old and new. Old, new. Old, new. Old, new. Old, new. I see the difference. It's subtle on this because the texture isn't because the texture is a bit smooth and you don't have a lot of lighting going on. But this is going to look better if we go to
Oh, no time to waste. Let's go.
first peek. Let's head to one bridge real quickly. So these top faces are now correctly lit, and now this bit of stairs, the top faces should also be correctly lit. Lamp to the side to the left there. Subtle differences, but we have to check all of these now. There's no light on the top there. It worked, but it's a very subtle change. It's more subtle than I thought, but still, it's good to also fix all of the orientations. We need to check all of them one more time. Light coming in from the right here. Yeah. I'm looking at the top, like at the lighting on these bricks now, and you can sort of deduce that the lantern is to the right and to the front, like to the top and to the right. And previously this was angled incorrectly, so the light is over to the top right, that's correct. And previously the highlight would be on the left side of these bricks. And that's no bueno, that's not good. So this is the fix, but we have to do a lot of work to make it work. But we can do it. We'll get there. Might be a different stream. So let's remove. I think we already did some exploratory work here. Let's close the project. I'm happy with what we achieved. These can go into the trash. We already know we have to take a look at them. Close the folders, close the terminals. So that's a clean desktop. We empty the trash. What's in there? Oh, a lot of unused stuff. Boom. So that was the stream for today. New cinder blocks, column texture, cinder blocks overgrown, column texture, and marble pillar texture. First version, but I think it looks stunning. I think we can just run with it the way that it is now. In the meantime, we already saw the changes that it did off stream, so we can now have blocks with rounded columns and flat shaded columns, and you can also I did some work on the textures for the bamboo stick and the bricks chimney, because there was a bit of a double normal mapping thing going on. And what we also did on the stream was add ambient occlusion to the center vertices of the hollow caps. So just a tiny detail, but it will add just a bit of flair, a bit of flavor to the center portion of those hollow blocks. Sorry. Looking good. Everything is looking good. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. We made some good progress again. Some nice visuals. I really love those marble pillars. They're just spectacular. They're amazing. Next time, I think I might be streaming on Friday, because I don't think I will be streaming tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I will spend on these stairs blocks, getting those normal maps orientations correctly. So hopefully, or maybe the next live stream will be on Friday. Sort of same time, same place, and then we'll work on textures, work on the engine, and see where we can take everything. So hope you have a lovely day, everyone. Thanks for watching, thanks for the feedback, and hope to see you again in the game, on the live stream, or who knows, maybe somewhere else. Anyway, that's it for today. I see you next time. Peace out. See you later, Crunchy.